I mean, we were kind of just talking about him, but Kirby Dach, drafted third overall by the Hawks, had like a pretty solid, I thought, rookie year with the club.
Yeah.
Has an injury, misses basically an entire
Yeah.
year's worth of playing. Comes back this season, struggles a little bit, starting to hit his stride again, though. Like,
It's been a great couple of weeks for Doc, honestly. I feel so bad because, again, he was drafted third overall, and I still stand by this. He was the most NHL ready in my mind out of the people in that draft. Uh, and we grabbed him for that purpose. Uh, we rushed him in because he was in a weird position between he wasn't going to benefit anymore from going back to the WHL. He couldn't go to the minors. He had to be in the NHL. But then, he loses that whole, realistically, the majority of that last season. And then this year we threw him in as like our first line center. That's buck wild. Like, I think he took a hit to his confidence. He's not a good face-off guy yet. That's something that develops over time. But the last couple weeks, and Nick, I know we're gonna talk about this. I'm excited to get into it, but like I feel like we've been seeing the doc that we got excited about. We're seeing him start to shine again.
Yeah, no, I know I've kind of been I was dogging on him for a little bit, not only on the show in the group chat, but yeah, Derek King said himself he was kind of like hard on himself. Kirby Dach was his own worst critic, and now we're kind of seeing him turn in, like, that confidence is starting to build ever since like the pressure. Like, we've seen him struggle with the dot, and they're slowly transitioning him to the wing to let him still play that two-way style, but also use that offensive creativity and not being like pressured to, hey, you got to go win this draw. Like, it's a D zone draw. You got to win this. So yeah, I think Doc is he's finally starting to grow in his own. I like we said, talking about the with development of playing against men and whatnot. I personally think that Doc would have benefited from another year in juniors. Yes, he was like the most NHL ready, but he's a guy. He seems like a kid that he plays off confidence. With the more confident he is, the better he's going to play. And you're starting to see that confidence grow a little bit using like his hands that he's well known for. And, we're actually starting to see him shoot the puck a little more than he usually does. So, yeah, I think, it's still, he's still 21. He's 20 or 2021.
I mean, that's my thing too. I mean, he a couple weeks ago, he deleted all of his social media, got rid of the noise, able to focus a little bit more. He's also been playing more of like a third line center role. And he even said, like, hey, right now, you know what I'm doing really well? Shutting down, hard checking, like forecheck, like, you know what? If that's what I am right now, that's what I am right now. And I'm going to keep trying to do the right things. Like, he knows where he's at. I think he's going to benefit from being more realistically in a third line role right now. Like, if I was 20, 21 years old, I didn't want to go up against Sidney Crosby and, McDavid and stuff like that in a face off. That's ridiculous. But we are starting to see him loosen up a little bit. That's exciting to me. We're seeing him because he is offensively creative. Like, that's what's he's not just again, I keep going back to Marian Hossa. Marian Hossa was one of the greatest two-way hard checking, like forecheck, shut down. But he was also a phenomenally offensive, like creative playmaking. Like, he did it all. There is no reason that Doc can't develop into that. And I know we've talked a little bit about, there's been talk of shifting him to wing once Taze comes back. I don't think that's a demotion. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. If his strengths, I read a lot of comparisons in his draft year to Getzlaf, which, like, hell yeah. If we had a Getzlaf on our team, love it. Love Getzlaf's style of play. But if you shift him to a wing, that starts to become certainly a Brandon Saad style, but like, and what was he but a mini Hossa? That's a Hossa style of play. Man, that is an invaluable piece of your top six.
Yeah, no, it's important to have. I mean, it's not hit. Like, he doesn't need to be a number one center for him to be successful.
No,
Like, yeah, we wanted him to be the Tays, the next one to inherit Tays' role, but he might be a winger and a really good one.
but he also might grow into again. That it's such a weird thing because again, Strome is killing it at faceoffs this year, but he has been not good. Like he's been pretty bad at faceoffs his entire career. That's been one of our like the big knocks on him is like, can't win a faceoff. All of a sudden this year it clicked. He did a lot of work on whatever it was. I don't know, maybe it just takes time. Like not everybody is, for every Tays, for every Kane, for every these guys that can jump into the league. And Tays took a year. Tays was at college for a year and then joined the NHL. I don't know. I think Dach needs time. I think Dach needs development. And I don't know if he's gotten as much of that before this year. I don't know. For all the things that Colleton was praised about, developing young kids, I don't know if Dach realistically got a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, if you need to shift him to the wing for the rest of the year, and then during the offseason you can work on faceoffs or work on getting stronger to get better at the dot, that's fine.
I love it. I'm all about it.
Let him develop in certain areas. Like if he's gonna go play wing and become that offensive playmaker he could be, I want any sign of development, and we're starting to see it a little more the past couple of weeks.
Nick, was it you before the show that brought up Teuvo Teravainen?
Yeah,
and how he joined the league as a center, and he's a phenomenal, like one of the top wingers now.
Yeah, I mean, it like just because they dominated that position like most of their life because of their size, and they come to the NHL and it's not for them, they can still be very productive anywhere else. Like Teuvo Teravainen, elite, he's an elite winger. I mean, Frolik, he was even a center coming to the league. I know Teuvo and Frolik are two different types of players,
but to feed your point, then we get Pius Suter, who we picked up as a wing.
Yeah.
And so now, you listen to, he's a more natural center. That's wild.
Some things just click for others, and it doesn't.
Reichel was drafted as a left wing. Now he's a center first and foremost. And he might go back to wing. I don't know.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm not. So I know I'm kind of. I know I was kind of like closing the window on Dach a couple of weeks ago. Now it's like.
Well, you were also, and
I was just
when you watch Trevor Zegras, I get it. But like, David, you made a phenomenal point. Zegras is doing the right things, and he's playing a good game. Not to take that away at all, but every 3-4 games he has a highlight reel thing, and you go, just always, "Oh my God, look at him!" And then you like, he's good, and he has the highlight reel plays, but like that doesn't mean other guys that aren't flashy aren't going to be just as good, if not potentially better. Who knows?
Yeah. Exactly.
At this age, it's a free for all.
So right now, I'm going to go back to defending Dach because I think we'll see it. Yeah, and if anything, this might be playing better in the Blackhawks' hands. Like his contract's coming up soon.
He can't demand the sum that Trevor Zegras is going to demand.
That we thought he was going to get too. It's like, oh, maybe 3 years at a really decent price for Dach is going to be
sign him to a bridge deal, and
so could be playing the Blackhawks' hand right now too.
I kind of want your guys' opinion on something. Now, obviously, Kirby Dach hasn't been panning out at the center position like you guys have wanted him to. And he kind of got like the Svechnikov effect, as I'm going to call it, right? Like he looked okay, his rookie season. His second season, he gets a terrible injury that basically sets him back a full year. That's basically what happened to Evgeny Svechnikov. I know you guys want him to be like a true, a true top number 1 and 2 centerman if it can pan out. But do you think realistically they should just put him on the third line and say, look, we're obviously not making playoffs right now. This team's not expected to go anywhere, probably for the next, couple of years, if we're being honest. So we want you to pan out as like a better player overall. Do you think the third line center position where he just takes defensive zone draws essentially is a good spot for him?
I don't know about the defensive zone draw area just because of the faceoff deficiencies. That said, I think that the third line makes a lot of sense. Not even if I still believe he can be a top 6 center. There's no reason not to put him at we get Tyler Johnson back. Even if Tays doesn't, whatever shakes out there, I see no reason why Dach being the third line center doesn't help develop him for a second or first line center position. Let him take the easier, again, going up against other third or fourth line centers. I I push back a little bit on the Svechnikov thing. Just I totally understand the comparison. That said, I feel like Dach had a very good rookie season. We also saw him put himself in a lot of positions where he was making plays, playing strong on the forecheck, and he was like one of the top hit players in the league.
Yeah.
And he got a target on his back with the way he was playing. Guys that aren't a threat don't get a target on their back. Like, I don't know. There was a lot to be excited about at the end of Dach's rookie season. I still support the World Juniors move. I think, or whatever that was. Yeah, to send him to World Juniors. I think that was the right move. Weird fluky injury. That said, I think losing that year of his development, maybe the one fair comparison with Svechnikov, the issue that our roster is not as deep in the pool, that people aren't leapfrogging Kirby Dach yet.
Yeah.
He's got time to develop.
Yeah, there's nobody like kind of jump. There's nobody that besides Reichel. It's
and cool. Like let them compete. That's awesome.
We need two of those guys anyways. So
yeah, exactly. They're not competing for the same position realistically.
Well, all right. And like, I wasn't comparing him to Svechnikov's play, just like the situation of came out good his rookie year, then got hurt and basically missed a whole season.
Yeah. And I definitely, that's exactly where he's at. I think the externals are a little different, but yeah, the actual things of like came out, had a great rookie season or had a good rookie season, lost a year. Now the only difference is the Hawks sort of have to have patience because they don't have anyone knocking on the door. Whereas with the Wings, all of a sudden, well, and Evgeny kept getting re-injured, right?
Yeah, like he got off the injury. He came back for a couple games, injured again. Like
that was just terrible luck. God, that poor guy.
He's doing okay in Winnipeg right now.
My kicker with Dach is I know that he had the concussion to start his rookie season. Now it's just keeping an eye, if there's a history of, injuries there that could lead to a more Svechnikov situation. But as of now, I think it's just important to remember he lost that year, like you said.